I had the same studio teacher, the person that was with me on set, because I was basically working nonstop when I was a teenager. Irene Brafstein, and before me, she was Jodie Foster's, and then after me, she was Winona Ryder's. And she had an incredible influence on me.
Hey, it's Fran. We're here at the Vulture Spot with the team behind Run Amok. Welcome, guys. NB, for folks who aren't in Park City with us this year, could you tell us a little bit about your movie?
It's a story about a group of young people who decide to put on a musical about a subject matter that everyone in their high school, all the adults, they do not want them to really put on the musical that they want to put on. It's a bit of a controversial musical.
The teens are literally running amok.
They are literally running amok, and they're pretty badass.
Hell yeah. Musicals can be really cathartic, I think, for young people in a lot of ways. Were there any musicals or musical films that were touchstones for you guys when you were in high school?
I majored in musical theater, so for me, it's a long. Of them. Yeah, I mean, I think those some of my first moments of even watching like musical theater, local musical theater, actually was productions of like Big River and Evita, and even before all the big shows that came into town. I think because it's, if I can get on the music theater soapbox for just a second, there is, I think it's one of the greatest American art forms. I think it's beautifully absurd, and I think it's something that is so expressive and all-encompassing, which is why at its best, it's one of the most amazing experiences in the theater. When it doesn't work, it's also the corniest and most frustrating, because you're just firing at all cylinders, whether it's acting, singing, dancing, all at the same time. But it's such beautiful, amazing storytelling. And when you look at the history, I'll stop talking, because I could go on for days about musical theater.
What about for other folks, musicals?
Well, I was in the first West Coast production of Annie, so and we were the flagship, apparently. Yeah, musicals were huge for me. That's what I started out doing was musicals.
One of the sort of core relationships in this film is between Alyssa and Patrick. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about building that relationship on screen together?
Hit it.
Yeah. No, we were lucky enough to have some rehearsal time before filming began. So we met, me, Patrick, and V, and we were able to sort of work through all the scenes and lay a nice foundation for us to sort of build upon as filming went on.
Yeah, no, and I had seen the short that she had done, which was beautiful and amazing, and watching her grow as an actress, and then saw her on stage too. So I came in knowing like I was the outsider, which I think was important because the film is through her eyes. So having the adult reservation and to just be able to go, okay, this is your story, I need to see where I fit in, I think both work for me as an actor, and I think it's right for the character as well.
Yeah. Were there any teachers you had growing up that had a really formative impact on you?
I think the teachers that have meant the most to me have always been my theater or acting teachers. I can think of many, many acting teachers in my life who have really changed the way that I not only look at acting, but the world generally. And so that was a really cool thing for me to sort of step into, as I'm like the director of this musical, and I got to sort of inhabit the like acting teacher role that I'd always sort of admired growing up, which was super exciting.
Yeah. Actually, we had a rehearsal also with all of the young people who are in the cast who put together the musical, and we were in the auditorium in the theater space. And we just did this like hour-long improv, and Alyssa playing Meg, she took on the role of the director, and she was like telling them what to do, like she was just like improvising a whole rehearsal, and it was really cool.
I think one of the things that works so well with everybody is because NB took so much time in giving our characters so much story. So when we were talking about the project initially, she gave me my whole character's life story. And it was so amazing because, usually as actors, we're tasked to do that ourselves, and to have the writer of the project actually give you, this is this person, like, I want to see you interpret this person, but these are the details. And then so we got to bring the emotion. And that's like really, it's powerful. I've never had that experience on a film before. So I think that's why we were able to give so much, because we were given so much.
culture is really hard on teens and younger generations that I think try to kind of push them down or silence their opinions. Why was it important to you to really give them a voice in this film?
I think that as a kid, I loved coming of age stories, high school coming of age movies, and I wanted to make one, but I knew that it had to be honest about like to meet the moment of where young people are and what it means to be in high school these days. And they're up against a lot. And I hadn't seen a story that really put them in the driver's seat of like tackling those challenges head on and just being like unabashedly curious and asking all the questions and just really going for it and empowering them in a way that like, that's what I wanted to see on screen. That was a story that I want to see. And I hope that it's a story that young people want to see and feel empowered by.
Patrick, your son is in this movie.
Yes.
Cal!
Somewhere around here.
Yeah, he's somewhere around here. What has he taught you about his generation that might have been helpful for this role?
Oh God, too much for a Vulture interview. I mean, I think I think the greatest, it's funny, what you just said, Envy, about asking questions, I think that's what the movie does, and that's what I responded to as a parent. I mean, first of all, every script that I read kind of sort of goes through the eyes of what this means to me as an artist, but as a dad, as a person, as a citizen, right? And this movie in particular resonated with me because of how my kids have grown up in normalizing school lockdown drills and school shootings. And we're fortunate, knock on wood, it seems such a dumb thing to say. It hasn't happened in my town, but you always have to kind of preface that with yet, which is awful. Because I remember when he was a kid and Sandy Hook happened and all you want to do is run down to the elementary school and you know, save your kids. So, yeah, so that's what it means, you know? Yeah. So I think as parents, you always are trying to figure out how, like, what would you do if this happened? And so then you're watching the fallout of like 10 years later. And we're fortunate that I'm not the parent that this has happened to, but I think if there's any time, certainly right now, even 24 hours after what's happened in Minneapolis and any of this chaos that's going on, we as artists have to not only reflect, but we have to ask the questions, not give the answers. I think that's the most important thing you can do as a filmmaker and as an artist is not preach, but ask questions. And I think that's what the movie does at its heart, in its quirky, bizarre way.